just reemphasizing what they've learned, maybe in a different language. Sometimes I'm not speaking the correct language, which I'll learn as time goes on. But you should see and expect the same thing out of defensive line as we did last year.
And just a little bit in terms of Coach Choate was always talking about, because the one in 2014 was so productive, I think they had 52 sacks, he thought that maybe they could reproduce in the aggregate, maybe do it as a collective. Do you feel like that's going to be more of the same this year?
I think we're going to be a combination of both. I think there's some expectation to have that chip on your shoulder and do both, be productive as well as help out the other guys to make sure they can be productive. So we're trying to accomplish in terms of up front, making sure we can protect the backwards enough so Keyshawn and AZ can make some plays, but at the same time pick our battles and know when we should take the one-on-one battles and win those.
In terms of who do you feel like is in the battle right now early on to take Tani's spot?
It's tough to say because they're all learning all the positions. So Elijah obviously was playing nose last year. We moved him out to tackle. So we want him to be able to have the versatility to play inside, to play outside. Vito will be another one that'll be stepping up and learning to play both. Greg Gaines is really solid inside. And then you have Jalen and right now Benning is learning it. Shane Bowman is learning it. So it's really a seating chart. And based on what we see in film, based how fast they can learn, that will create our depth chart.
And can you talk a little bit, I mean, I know you've only been on campus a few months now, but can you just talk about the overall experience being under Chris Peterson and just kind of maybe some of the things that you've learned already from him?
I've learned a lot. First off, just being back, it's been an honor and it's been a privilege for me to be on his staff, to have that opportunity to connect the dots from the years of the 90s, the golden years, so to speak, to now in the 2000s. His philosophy is something that to me is very similar to what I've learned from Coach Don James. And it's all about building the whole person in general, not just on the field, but also off the field. And those are the things that made me want to come back. I mean, it's not only just my school, and I have pride in my alma mater, but the person that is the head man and the person that is out front in front of people, in front of our team. His philosophy is something that I cherish.
How much did that influence you really taking a serious look at this when Coach Choate left?
It's huge because everything is about fit. In our profession, obviously, trying to stay put in one place is hard to do. He's actually has that MO in terms of staying put, want to be in one place, putting his foot in the ground and creating a foundation. And that was a huge factor for my wife and I, my family. But then, to me, the icing on the cake was just being home and being able to wear purple and gold again.
So the last time you were here, were you renting? I mean, you were a player and a grad assistant. Now, where are you settled in life with your family and a house and things? Can you take us through that? I mean, that just kind of shows you the full circle thing.
Well, the market has changed since the last time I was here. So we are learning the new market system here and still trying to look. Actually, I'm probably being the best of my best friend, Ink. I'm actually staying with Ink right now. I'm his roommate until his wife says get out of the house. So we're still trying to find our roots here, and wherever we can afford to live, will be our home. But most importantly, trying to help out this program as much as we can.
And I was also going to ask too, Ikaika, there is a strong Polynesian community here, but also a strong bond. Typically, there has been, especially along the defensive line.
Yes.
And how important is that for you to maybe be the cornerstone of maybe trying to continue that pipeline, continue that tradition?
Well, I have a lot of pride and honor in terms of trying to continue that. The Polynesian community has been a huge part of this program, especially up front at the defensive line. In fact, today I saw one of the ex-players, Junior Coffin, when I was a grad assistant here. He was playing under Randy Hart. So those things are important to me, but I also wanted to make sure it carries over to everybody else, regardless of the race. And learning their culture and them learning ours and really combining it together to make it one Husky culture.
Speaking of Coach Hart,
yes,
he retired this year. How
yes,
much of Coach Hart's in Ikaika?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. When I was here as a player, like I mentioned, Coach Peterson and Coach James, the carryover is very similar. And Coach Hart and Coach Lambright, those two guys were huge. Coach Pallure, Coach Almation, those guys were huge in terms of what my values have grown to become. Aside of my families and my morals, my family values and my morals. When I got here, they taught me what it is to be a Husky and how it is to carry yourself when you go out in the world. And in my coaching, because I had a chance to coach under Coach Hart, A lot of the techniques are carried over here in terms of his style. And his style is pretty much tough love. It's showing them how much he loves them, but really not letting them get away with anything in terms of details. And that's what to me Coach Hart represents for us.
When you came here, you did a lot of good things here as a player and a coach. Were you worried at all that people would remember the one incident, back in the 2000s and stuff? And I know you've been very upfront about that.
Yeah.
Just how, how did you balance all that when it came to kind of deciding what you were going to do here?
Well, it is. You can't help but think about the last thing you did here, and I put a stain on our program. I was part of it, part of a scandal that I'm not proud of, but I had an opportunity to learn from, and it took me 7 different schools to continue to get better. And what I've done right now with the things that I've been a part of is teach younger kids to have that, be proactive and be ahead of the game in terms of if I see something wrong, then nip it in the bud. I'm really excited to come back because now I can show the new me, show the new Ikaika, the improved Ikaika, not really the new Ikaika, and what I've learned over the years, what I can bring back to the team, and hopefully leave a better name for our university moving forward.
I was going to say too, you obviously know playing, Utah State playing Washington last year.
Yep.
You got a chance to see the defense up close and
Yes.
personal, and then leading the Pac-12 in total defense. What do you think is next for these guys? I mean, they accomplished so much last year. What do you think are the next steps for this defense?
Oh, there's always the next step. There's goals that obviously we'll keep private and continue on working on that. But Coach Kwiatkowski, starting from the top, even Coach Peterson, no one in this program is really satisfied with where we're at. Everything is about taking the next step. So even though we are number one, what took us to get to that point, and what more details can we improve on to either stay on top of everybody, which means keep moving forward. We have a target on our back in terms of trying to keep that number one spot, and then even excel past that.
Coach, yesterday at Pro Day, Tawny was out there catching passes.
Yep.
And I know Elijah Qualls was over there
Yep.
looking, saying, I did that in high school. How
right.
many of those guys have told you I could play fullback?
Oh, for sure, all of them. That's the beauty of our defensive line. That they're so charismatic that they can. Elijah probably could play quarterback if you give him a chance to. So it was great for the program for Tani not only to work out as defensive lineman, but the NFL giving him a chance to work out as a fullback. And you can see how versatile he is, and looking forward to see what other players can fit that role.
It just seemed like it's kind of fun for the guys.
It is. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Good.
All right.